Hi, welcome back. So in today's video, I sold McCall's 7192 and McCall's 7198. So I did McCall's 7198 first. It's just a pants pattern with elastic around the waist. It's two pieces for the front and the back, and then you just cut a piece for your elastic. It was a real easy sew, and that's what I wanted. I would definitely sew it again. So it's a very beginner friendly pattern if you're interested. And I sold view D, and I love it. So for McCall 7912, I sold view B, and I also love that one as well. It was, I think it was an easy pattern, but the collar piece did kind of trip me up a little bit. It was a lot of basting and things like that, so I'm not sure. But I think it turned out great too, so I like both of them. The fabric that I used was a cotton knit from Sewing Studio, I want to say. Yeah, I think that's where I got it. And I used it for both pieces. It's kind of giving 70s vibe, but you know, I'm okay with that. I like the 70s, 90s, early 2000s. You know, that's me. I like those things. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy and be blessed. Okay, so someone asked if I could start showing the pattern envelope, and sure, I can show that. So this is McCall 7198 for the pants that I'm going to do, and I'm sewing VUD, so this view right here, and it's an easy to sew pattern. So it only has elastic but no zippers or anything like that. So once we turn it over to the back, you have like a brief description of the pattern, and then you also have the knit test is what I like to call it. So you'll take 4 inches of crosswise fabric and stretch it from here to here to see if the fabric has enough stretch. Unfortunately, I had already cut out my pattern piece before I filmed this part, so I don't have it, but next time I do a knit pattern, I'll show it. So then it has some suggested fabrics that we can use, and I am going to use a cotton knit for this one. It also shows the different views and the width of your fabric. And then depending on what view and size you are, that's how many yards of fabric you will need. So for me, I cut out the 16. And then it also shows like the notions that you need. So we just need elastic for this one. And then the measurement at the hip line. So 16, 38 and a half. And then it also shows the line drawn. So since this is such an easy pattern, unfortunately, it doesn't have many. But when I do the jacket, I'll share the information on that one. Thank you to whoever suggested that I show the pattern envelopes. Okay, so the first step is to attach the front and the back in the inner leg seam. So you're going to take one front pants leg at the inner seam and one back pants leg at the inner seam and pin. And so once I have it all pinned, I'm going to go and stitch. I'm going to start at the bottom and stitch up for both pants leg. Then I have the front and back sewn together, and then I press my seams towards the back pants leg. And I'm going to attach the other piece that I have along the crotch line here. So I'm going to match my crotch seam as best as I can, because y'all know how they go. Okay. So I'm going to find my front notches. Should just have one. I'm going to pin there. I always like to double pin in my notches. And then the back should have 2 notches. And so I'm going to go and stitch around the inner curve crotch seam. So I have my crotch seam sewed. So the next step says to attach the front and the back together at the side seam. So I'm just gonna open it up like this, and then I'm gonna kind of flip it to bring that up here, and then that way I should have a front pants leg and a back leg together. So I'm gonna go and sew from here up for both pants leg. So I've sewn my pants together, and then I'm gonna lay them to the side, and I'm gonna work on the elastic part. So I already cut it out and made my markings on that. And the instructions say to, come on baby, let's get it together. Cross over these two circles at the end, cross them over, make them match. Let's see if I can make them match. And then I'm going to stitch right here. So just do a zigzag stitch. I'll do that with my finger. Do a zigzag stitch right here. 2, 3. 3, girl. And so this is what the elastic looks like all sewn together. Looks pretty tight. Alrighty, so let's bring the pants back, and then I have my elastic. So the instructions say to match the back that we just sewed to the back part. So I'm just gonna match it up like this. Maybe we'll use the clips. Okay, so match up the square to the side seam. Make sure that's kind of matched up. And then the line right here would be the front centerpiece. And then the instructions say you will have to sew. I will have to, like, don't pull the fabric, but pull the elastic. I guess right now I'm pulling both of them. Okay, pull the elastic as I sew. So, and then I'm also going to change the zigzag stitch to the 4. I think I want to use that one. Okay, so I got that stitch. Oh my god, I forgot to put my tag in, but it doesn't look too bad like this, so I need to put my tag in. But we're gonna turn it to the inside, turn it to the right side. So turn it to the inside, just gonna fold it over all around, fold it to the inside. Am I making sense? Okay, fold it to the inside. And then, where was my back again? So this was my back. So then the instructions say to kind of shift it and make sure it's smooth. And you want to stitch right here in that seam to keep this from rolling up. Okay, I put my tag on, and I did like a stitch right here. Well, kind of like on the inside, just tag it down. And I've done the side seams so they won't come up. But I think I want to go all across, you know, kind of like where it's loose right here. The instructions don't say that, but don't they just make more sense to just go ahead and zigzag across? I mean, I guess it does kind of, that makes that look a little messy though, doesn't it? If it's pretty straight now, and then I take that zigzag and make it like this, it ain't gonna be, all right, I'm gonna leave it alone then. And so the next step is to hem the bottom of each pants leg. So I'm just measuring 1 1/4 for my hem, and then I'm gonna fold in about 1/4 of an inch and sew all around. So for the jacket, I'm sewing McCall 7912 View B. It has like the belt, the patch pockets, a collar, no sleeves. So yeah, I'm good on the sleeves right now. So this is identified as an easy pattern, and then it has the description again, some suggested fabrics that can be used for the pattern. And I am cutting a size medium out of View B. And then I will also need interfacing for this project. Here it also shows the finished measurements. So at the bust line for medium, that's a 44. At the hip, 45. And then you also have some other measurements. And then for View B, you can see the line drawings on the back. So B is cut on the fold, so there's why it's no line right there. But for the collar, you can see that it's 2 separate collar pieces. And then for View B, this is just the front view again. So that's all for that piece. Okay, so I've already interfaced all my pieces, and the first step is to work on the pockets. So I also interfaced the pocket just to give it like a little more stability, so it wouldn't be so flimsy. And the directions say to finish off the edge of your pocket. So basically I just did it with my sewing machine, just like a little is it an overlock stitch? I think that's what it's called. Until I get familiar with my overlocker, right? So the first step is to fold the pockets along the fold line here to the outside. So I'm gonna fold. Okay, so now that I have them sewed at the end right here, I'm going to trim the ends off, and I already did this one and press around, so I'm just going to do the same thing to this one. So I'm going to clip off my seam allowance. The next step is to take the front of the jacket and the pockets. I have a small one right here because I kind of marked it, and then the large one is somewhere over here, but let me flip it to the other side. So I have my large one and then my small dot right here. So this isn't the best fabric to like really have the markings come through. So I'm just gonna line it up with that dot. Do an edge stitch around the pocket here. So I'm just going to stitch on the very end of the pocket where the pocket is. And it's a lot of it's kind of wavy, right? It's a lot going on. It's a little busier than I thought it was going to be, but we're going to go ahead and go through with it. Maybe it'll come out cute, you know, once it's all done. Once I've sewn the pockets to the jacket, It's time to pin the jacket at the shoulder seams. So I'm going to go and stitch each shoulder. The next step is to make a narrow hem along the armhole edge between the two circles. So here's a circle and here's a circle. So I just press 5/8 of an inch, and then I'm going to take it to the machine, and my raw edge, I'm going to bring it to the press line, do another fold, and stitch right here on this edge right here. So I'm going to do that all around for both sides of the armhole edge. So I've sewed the armhole edge all around. Looks pretty good if I say so myself. And now it's time to attach the front to back at the side seams. So let's see. This is the back side, and then this is the front. So I'm just gonna match them up. So now I'm going to go and sew both side seams. So now it's time to work on the collar pieces. So this is collar piece 4, and it just says with right sides together, stitch across here. So I'm just going to pin right quick. So it says to do the same thing with pattern piece number 5. So I'm going to match up my notches. Okay, so I'm going to take care of both of these at the same time. So for the upper collar, the one that's interphase, is the direction said to stitch a reinforcing stitch. It said across the triangles, but maybe I put my triangles too low. I'm not sure, but that's about 5/8. So and then it says clip to the triangles. So I'm just going to clip. And then turn in this piece that I just clipped. So I'm going to turn that in, give it a good press at the iron. Okay, so I've pressed it down, and then the instructions say to trim the pressed edge right here to 3/8. So just like a little slither, trim that off, and I'm just gonna eyeball it. That's my slither. And then it says to pin my upper and under together, leaving the notched edge free. And I want to make sure that my seams match up. Stitch that together with right sides together. Now that I have it all stitched, I'm going to trim off the seam allowance. And I don't like to trim off too much, but sometimes I get a little scissor happy. So now that I have it trimmed, I'm going to understitch to the under collar. So I'm going to take my seam allowance and stitch it, attaching it to the under collar, so that way it won't come up when we wear it. So I understitched it towards the under collar, and then the instructions said to give it a good press. So I gave it a good press and it looks like this. Turned it to the right side. And then it says the end that we left open with the notches. I'm just going to base all along this side to close it up and get ready to attach it to the jacket. So I have the upper and under collar based together along the notched edge, and I'm going to attach it to the jacket. So I don't know, my notches are a little all over the place, so at this point I'm just going to wing it a little bit. I'm going to put the under collar against the jacket with right sides together. It doesn't say which one to do, but I guess that makes sense, right? Since that's going to kind of like be the upper. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go and baste all along the edge right here where I've just pinned. Okay, so for the facing piece, the front facing, I have already pressed down and trimmed it to 3/8, and then finished the unnotched side, and I'm gonna attach it to the front. So I'm just going to go and stitch this one this time. And then I'm not going to stitch my pressed edge that I had did. So I don't want to stitch that part. Okay, so I have stitched the facing to the jacket, trimmed the seams, and pressed it to the inside. And the next step says to slip stitch this pressed edge over the collar piece right here to kind of like hide the raw edges. But honestly, at this point, I'm just gonna sew it on the machine. I took care of this, you know, like I said, I just did it on the machine. It's okay. The next step is to hem the bottom of the jacket, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to pin the belt at the double notches right here and go to the machine and stitch. So after I pinned the belt together, I turned it over so right sides matching right sides. I'm going to sew that and also leave an opening so I can turn it. I paired it with some black jeans, and then I did it all together. I actually like it paired with the jacket. I thought it was going to be too much, but I'm digging it. And then I just have like a black top and the pants. So I hope you all enjoyed.